Okay, so I'm just gonna turn this down. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go in and make this jacket follow this character. Okay, and I want to have it as cloth, nCloth, that is. And when I do this, okay, nothing's happening so far. Okay, let's just take a look. What do I have? If I go in here to the hypergraph, la la la, I've got this, and also remember that I've got display shape hidden underworld nodes on. There's my coat. So with the coat, what I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do, tricky, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to grab my skeleton. And actually, I've got geometry showing. Skeleton's not showing. Good. Okay, got it. Skeleton. Whoop. Get the coat. And then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to just skin it. Fine skin. And select the joints. Screw it. I'm going to do the joint hierarchy. Great. And do I care about any of this stuff? No. Okay, just default settings. Now, this is because I've already weighted the body. Okay, so I'm going to take my body. Select my body. Hold down Shift, and I'm going to grab the coat. And I can go to skin, copy skin weights, and just the default settings should be fine. Whoop. Okay. And just let's take a look. So now the coat moves. Well, this looks very nice. Okay, it moves with the character, and if I checked out the hand controls and everything, it should follow. If it doesn't follow, I can do some weighting changes. There's some changes I need to make up in here and stuff like that. Okay, great. Just undo that. I should also make a point, too, that I might just grab this coat and make a duplicate. And this duplicate, we'll call it, instead of coat 1, we'll call it coat _ real, because we're going to take this coat here and we'll do some other things to it. I'll come back to it afterwards. And actually, I probably don't need that little node on here. This one here, I do need that extra little node. That's my skin cluster. Okay, great. And this one here, it's also bound and whatever. I'm just going to unlock it. Doesn't really matter right now. But that's what I've got. So, now what I want to do is I want to go into FX. Remember, we're in 2016, so it's the FX tab. And if I go down here and I'm looking for nCloth, and I go Create nCloth. Okay, and if I press play... Oh, it's invisible clothes. No, what it is I've got a Lambert thing. Just hold on a second. If I could just go in here and I go to my material attributes, I'll see that I've got a keyframe on Lambert 1. On a transparency. Great. So, now we see it falling off. Actually, I'm just going to take the real coat and I'm just going to hide it. Oh, which one did I select? Damn you to hell! I got confused. Just hold on a second. Undo. I selected the real coat by accident. That's not what I meant to do. I'm just going to go in and hide that. So I don't do anything funny to it. And actually, I just got to check something. How far back do I go? Okay, great. And I'm just going to go in here to the material attributes. Transparency, break connection. Okay, cool. So, and that also undid my cloth. So, we're going to go back to nCloth, create nCloth. And I'm on the first frame, press play, and we'll see it fall. Okay, cool. I also might notice, what is my frame on right now? Play every frame is on. Okay, good. And I notice it's not really colliding with the body very well. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the first frame, and maybe I could take the body, and hopefully it's not popping through the geometry anyplace. This might also be a good time to make sure that it's not smooth when I'm looking at it. I take this and I turn off the smooth. It looks like I've got one little quick issue to deal with. Let's just go in here. I'm going to grab a little vertex. Get that one right there. Just going to go in and I'll quickly pull this out of it. Okay, and maybe I notice it's doing the same thing over here someplace. It looks like it's crashing. And that's just going to set yourself up for disaster right from the get-go. Okay, so that's good. And I'm just going to take the body, and I'm going to go into nCloth. I'm going to make that into a passive collider. And we can check it out again. Whoop. Okay, and it's falling. It's doing kind of a slow thing. It's falling around the body. Okay, great. But and there's a whole schwack of little tricks and doodads I could do right now, but It's taking its sweet time. It feels like it actually might be... Oh, the sweet time bit. Actually, that's over here. In the nucleus, if I find the scale attributes, the space scale is set to 1 by default, and I think I always start at 0.1, and you probably usually end up at 0.01, but we'll just see how that looks to start off with. Okay, there. Now it's kind of going a bit quicker. Okay, but it's going to fall right off her body, and we don't necessarily want that. And the other thing, too, is maybe just in this one here, we really want to see just a claw simulation in this bottom part. And this is where my trick comes in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Ncloth shape. I'm going to be looking at dynamic properties, and I can play around with this stuff, and I can go to the presets, and I can choose different presets, and then I'll set up all these things. There's something here called input attract. Okay, and if I press play, you see it goes back to the original form it was in right from the very beginning. Okay, it doesn't change. We like that up top, but we don't want that down below. So what we're going to do is go into dynamic property maps, and down here there's something called input attract, and right now it's set to texture. I don't feel like making a texture. I'm going to go to the per vertex. And if I go running down into nCloth, and I look here for what did they do? Paint vertex properties. Why do they call that frickin' maps? Anyway, whatever. Paint vertex properties, and I'm going to go running down to input attract. Remember that when you do this, it always goes to collide strength. For whatever reason, I don't know. Whatever you pick in that list, it always goes to collide strength. So you got to go and make sure you pick input attract. And keep an eye on this, because sometimes you hit a funny hotkey and you'll knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. I'm going to go to replace. I'm going to replace with a value of 0. And I'll go over here. I'm going to make my brush bigger. And if I come in here and I paint, maybe I'll switch to that one there. It usually does a better job for something like this. Okay, I can put on reflections. I can do stuff like that. Okay, great. I don't care right now. And if you wanted to, you can put on the color ramp so you can kind of see what's going on with the gradient here. And we just want to go up to about there. Yeah, something like this. Okay, and again, I can make sure it's even on both sides, but I'm trying to do this really, really fast. So, I thought I put on color ramp. Okay, there's color ramp. And so it's red up there, so it's close to... Oh, it is white in this case here. Whatever. What now I'm going to do is switch to smooth, and I'm going to hit flood a bunch of times, and that's going to blend it right here. And maybe, let's just close this down and this down, and we should be okay. What time we got? 7-minute mark. Okay, cool. Just going to switch to this. So this area here, when I press play, this area is giving me a cloth deformation. And here, even just to test it really quick, I'll do something really lame. Let's just go and grab this, and I'll take the... Oh, let's go and keyframe that in the y-axis. Right-click, key selected, and I'll go to, say, frame 15. Okay, right-click, key selected, and then I'll go zipping into my graph editor. And in the graph editor, I can see this, and is there a little icon for this? So if I go in here to View Infinity, and then is this one here, the pre-cycle offset? No, that's not what I want. How about that one? No. Okay, whatever. I know what I want. I want post-infinity oscillate. Okay. And so let's see what it does. There we go. So you can see it working. Sometimes you might want to change it so that the frame starts not right at exactly frame 1, because you can see sometimes it takes a little bit to settle. So if you're actually in the cloth here, let's close. It's actually, I think it's in the nucleus actually. Nucleus! Nucleus! Where are you? There it is. And if I look down here, time attributes, I could make it so I give myself like negative frames here, and I can make it say start at negative 60. I always like about 60 frames to start off with, and then if I take this and I change that to negative 60, so I got more frames at the beginning, so it has a bit of run-up time, and it calculates a bit better. Okay, so Actually, I think I got like a pre-infinity thing going on here now that I look at it. So if I go back to window, animation editors, graph editor, I'm just going to stop this for a second. Damn it! Damn it all to hell. Yeah, that's what I wasn't paying attention to. So curves, pre-infinity, let's say linear, so we didn't have nothing going on, man. Nothing. There, so now it just hangs. And it hangs and gets ready to do its thing. La 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 la. Trying to go faster, faster. And here she comes. Whoop. Okay, so the knees are pushing out the cloth. Everything's working wonderfully. Okay. Maybe that's a bit too heavy-handed, but you can make your own decisions about what you want. You can play around with those settings that I was showing you, the presets and stuff like that. I'm going to go back to the very first frame for a second. Now, if I figure out my simulation, I'm happy with it, you'll notice that I've got this thin coat, okay? It's thin. There's no thickness to it. And that's when I made that other thing I called the real coat. So if I go into display, or what is it, show... Actually, what the hell? That's weird. Okay, what if I go and I do Shift H, does that bring it back? And Control Shift H. Okay, whatever. Why is that not giving me my little trick back? Right click. Okay. Or was I hallucinating? Okay, so I got this coat back. I'm just going to isolate it for just a second here. And what I'm going to do is I could take this coat, I could model it some more, but in this case here, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it some thickness. Okay, so if I go over here to modeling and I do a mesh, what is the hotkey? The hotkey is like Control E, right? Boop. Anyway, give it some thickness. I'm going to make sure my soft selection isn't on. Feels like my soft selection is on. Okay, whatever. It is on. You bastard. So I can give it thickness, and I can go in and give it little details, little pockets, and all sorts of little things, model whatever I want on this one, the real coat. And this coat over here is the nCloth coat. Now if I select it, gotta remember the order to do this in. Select this coat first, and then, no, I think it's the other way around. I select this one, then I select that. And I go zipping into rigging, and under deform, there's something here called the wrap deformer. Boop. Okay, so now it's got a wrap deformer on it, and I can take this coat and I could hide it. Hide your coat. And then when I press play, okay, and we're doing the run up time. La 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 la. Okay, and you can actually see this coat moving around right now. It's going with the simulation. Okay. And it's coming up. La 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 la. Okay, and there we go. So it's being deformed by the other coat, the invisible coat, the coat that I just made invisible, that is. Okay, so that's working out cool. Maybe one more thing you might want to do is after you've done your animation, you want to do all your animation first and then be able to get into this pose and stuff like that. Actually, you might even want to think about when you go from -60 here, you want to be in this T pose, and by the time you get to frame 0, you want to be in your first key pose, okay? So that it just takes a while to kind of get settled into the whole pose. And just go slow, don't do anything too crazy and jerky. Don't be a jerk. And the other last thing you might want to do is when I go zipping back here, if you want to render on multiple computers, you're probably going to need to go and take this nCloth, or this nucleus-based animation, and you're going to go and need to create a cache. So I'm going to create a cache, and what it'll do is it'll go through all your frames. Did I hit create cache? Oh, N object. Oh, what have they done? They've changed this. Okay, let's see what happens when I do that. So it goes to the first frame, and it's caching all of your information right now. So you would do this before you actually render, but after you've animated, okay? Because you want to figure out your cloth simulation kind of after you've animated, and you can tweak things, you can do all sorts of little tricks and clean things up. But I'll see if this can kind of go through. I'm just gonna, should I pause? I'll let it do its thing. It's only gonna take a few more seconds. I was trying to keep this under 15 minutes. And... Okay, I'm going to say it's good enough. I'm going to hit escape. Stop. But now I can scrub through the animation. And Maya, when it's rendering, likes this much better. Okay? So there you go. That's how to do your coat. Do a dress. Do whatever you want. You can even do this to your hair. And I'm going to stop here.